Hello, and welcome to another edition of LaborVision, the podcast for the people, where you tell your story. You can always catch LaborVision at www.laborvision.org. And you can also get it on iTunes and Spotify. Just go LaborVision, one word, do a search, and subscribe, rate, and tell us how we are. So definitely hit that subscribe and follow button. You know, we're trying to get our listenership up so that we can do some great things here in the future. And today, I got a very, very special guest from Rank My Vote, and that is Emily. Emily, what's happening? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm not bad.
Good. Thank you for being on the podcast. We really appreciate it. Oh, Emily, you know what? I forgot to say something. Also, AmericanWorkersFirst.org. Go there. That's where we got YouTube videos with the American workers doing what we do. So speaking out for one another. So, Emily, what's the Rank My Vote? What's going on with that? Can you give us a little back? Give us something on that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So we're an education-based organization. We're a C3, and we're educating the population of Michigan about what ranked choice voting is. So ranked choice voting is just a simple way, an upgrade to the way that we vote, where instead of just picking one candidate, you get to rank your preferences. And if your first choice is mathematically eliminated, your vote automatically goes to your backup, so your second choice that you ranked.
Okay, so let's say I like Bernie Sanders, Harris, let's see, what's the other guy? I'm trying to think of some more people. Cory Booker. Okay, let's just take those three.
Sure.
So how would that work with me? I go ahead and I pick Sanders, Harris, and Booker. And not that that's my choice, but I'm just saying I pick those three on the ballot. Is that how, is it on the ballot that way, or
Yep.
How does the ballot look? So
I actually have a thing for you to look at if you want.
Okay.
So that's essentially how it would look. And what we're looking at is an actual ballot. This is what you would see when you go into the voter booth. And the instructions are, fill in the oval like this. It has the blank, black circle. And it says rank your candidates in order of preference. Fill in 1 for your first choice. Fill in 2 for your second. Fill in 3 for your third choice.
Got you. And the way it's set up, just to paint the picture for folks, it's got candidate 1, candidate 2, and candidate 3. And on that same line, it's got first choice, second choice, third choice. Mm-hmm. So I guess the candidate thing would be longer if it was more people involved in the race, of course.
Exactly.
But in this case, if candidate 1 is Sanders, for me, I would say first choice. Candidate 2 is Booker. I would say that would be third choice. I would color the third choice in. And then candidate 3 would be Harris. Or 2, I would circle number 2 or fill in number 2. So then my ballot would go in with my choices in going.
Exactly.
So what happens after they get the ballots and they all go in, and let's just say Bernie Sanders is not one of the top go-getters?
Okay. If he's actually one of the bottom go-getters, like mathematically the least percentage of people wanted him as their first choice,
right,
he would get eliminated, and then it would go to the second round, where all the people that had Bernie Sanders as their first choice, now their second choice is their vote, and you retally everything.
So if let's say I had Harris as the first choice.
Okay.
And Bernie came in, last, so to speak. So, and Harris was the top go-getter. Mm-hmm. So my Harris vote would still count, right?
Yes. And it even says, it will say on the ballot, ranking second and third, et cetera, choices do not hurt your first choice candidate.
Got you.
So your first is always counted unless it's eliminated because they only got 5% or something like that.
Right.
So they wouldn't have won anyway.
So what is the, what's the question I'm looking for? What is the percentage that Bernie would have to lose at in order for my vote for him not to count for it to go to my second choice?
That's actually a variable percentage. It just needs to be the least out of all the candidates.
Okay.
So if he's the lowest, that one gets eliminated, and then it keeps going until someone has at least 51%.
Okay, so let's just say, for giggles and laughs, Booker gets 35. I'm trying to do this in my head, right? So help me out. and Kamala gets, Harris gets 35. Just Ironically, she gets 36. She gets 36.
55 and 36.
You're right.
Right,
And
right.
35, 36. And then let's say Bernie gets 33. So he would automatically be eliminated because he is the lowest one. Even though he got 33% of the vote, the people that voted for him, it would move down to their second choice.
Exactly, yeah, because he's not a majority vote.
Right, and he's a no winner. So at this point, you're not throwing your vote away by
Exactly.
picking.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
the whole point.
Because a lot of people now, and I hate to sound like this, we want to vote for a certain candidate, but we don't want to throw our vote away.
Yeah.
So I may really believe in this candidate, but I don't think that the world is ready for, sort of like with the Hillary Clinton thing. And I mean, I'm just being real. I talked to people that was like, I'm never going to let a woman run this country. I mean, I don't share their viewpoints. Okay. So let me be real clear about that. I do not share their viewpoints, but I have heard people say that. And I've heard women say that. Say, hey, I don't want to, I'm not trying to have a woman run this country. So therefore, and when I hear that, it's like, well, man, I don't want, if I want to throw my vote away on that one, or should I? So in this case, it would go down to my second choice. What happens is, let's see, what's my next question for this? What happens? So Bernie don't get it. It goes down to the second choice for me. Somebody else's second choice wasn't Harris. It was Booker or Cory Booker. So their second choice, and they had Bernie as a first choice. So
Okay.
me and you had Bernie as first choices, but our second choices were
different?
Right.
Yeah.
So how would that work?
So your second choice goes to your second choice. My second choice goes to my second choice.
Okay. And then now that this, oh man. Okay. With it being 3 is real simple because we
Right.
already know that the other 2, but here's what I'm wondering. How does it work when we have a lot of people in the primary, hence what we have now? How would this system work?
Well, it's essentially the same principle as the 3-candidate system, but yeah, so let's say all of the people that voted for like Bernie or candidate D or something, that's mathematically eliminated, so that their second choices are like scattered, throughout the rest of them.
Right.
When it's retallied, their second choice is just now their first. So you recount the ballots as if the first choice was just never there.
Gotcha.
And their second choice is now their first. And everyone else's first choice is still their first.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So, and the only thing, like I said, the only thing that really complicates is, like you said, when you got 20 and like it starts dropping down to that second choice, will it ever drop down to the third choice out of that group of, because you got like 20 people running,
Right.
and they can, and really the race could really go multiple different ways. Because keep in mind, somebody's second choice can boost a candidate up.
Yeah.
And they can pick. So would it ever get down to the third choice?
It can. Yeah.
Okay. So it would just continue going down the line until a winner is selected.
Right. A
from the
majority
people.
winner. And that's the whole point of the system.
Ah,
so
there
no
you
one
go.
can win with like 30%. It just keeps retabulating until someone gets over 50% of the vote.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What made you guys come up with this? With what?
Oh, it's not new. We
Really?
didn't come up with
Okay.
it.
Oh, okay, cool. Please explain. Definitely.
Well, I know Ireland's been doing it for a while, and a lot of other countries have been using it for a long time. Like I said, it's not a new system, but as far as the states go, Michigan hasn't had it yet. Actually, East Point is the first county, or rather city, in our state that's going to enact it this year.
Whoa, wait a minute. So East Point is actually getting ready to go to a system like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Because like you were mentioning before, actually, with saying that a lot of people wouldn't want to have Hillary just because she's a woman, there was actually a complaint filed in East Point. Sorry, I like to read things because
No. That's perfect. Look. I see your paper spread out in front of you. That's good. We want to tell the truth here.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
definitely don't want to spread misinformation. So
Right.
Okay, the complaint was filed with the United States Department of Justice in 2017.
Okay.
Basically, it was saying that they alleged that no African American resident had ever won office for council, school board, or legislative in the district of East Point, despite blacks making up about 1/3 of its electorate. So
Wow.
that was, and the solution was ranked choice voting. because it enhances the ability for minorities and women to get elected, because like you said, and this is kind of a sticky issue, because I don't actually, I'm a little torn about how this came about in East Point, because
no, go ahead and speak, because this is you. Here's the thing. This is you telling your story. This isn't we're not trying to be. I don't want to say we're not trying to be politically correct, but here's the thing. We want to hear your story. What do you think? What is you're torn about? What?
Well, because I think a lot of people might assume that this is saying, oh, the city council in East Point is racist, or the people of East Point are racist. And I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Okay.
I just think that the system as we have it now is set up so the people with the most money usually get elected, because campaigns are expensive.
That's kind of what's been going on in our society for like the last 20 years at least. The most money. I mean, you got people that's has businesses and retired from their own business and decide to go, I'm going to run for Senate. I'm going to run for such and such. And because they got millions of dollars in the bank, they run for it. No one knows who these people are. They get the seat and they like, ooh, I got another cushiony job. I just bought me a job. So yeah, to your point, yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, and I think the disparity comes in because, people of color and women who usually are, rearing children and have to be with their kids typically don't make as much as,
right.
say your average white dude that's running. So there is a imbalance there, kind of innate, and it's not because anybody's choosing. I mean, like the world is what it is. There are some people that will vote against someone just because of the way that they look or their sex. Right.
But everybody ain't racist. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
and just because it comes out that, hey, the white guys are getting it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a racist move on just everybody's part.
And I'm, for one, I'm a Tea Partier, honestly. I think that there shouldn't be taxation without representation.
Okay.
And if there's no women or people of color on the board, I'm not being represented. I shouldn't get taxed. You know what I mean?
Ooh, somebody would be like, wait a minute, call it. If this was a call-in show, they'd be ring, ring, ring. You tell her. No. But that's
what I think.
No. That's okay, because here's the thing. When it comes to these podcasts and these shows, and even when you came on Union Members Radio, thank you for coming on that.
Oh, yeah, that was blessed.
We should be able to talk about our differences. I'm more of a socialist, to a point. I mean, I don't think that if I make $1 million, I need to share the $1 million with everybody like people see as socialists. But what I mean is, when it comes to healthcare and different things, I do care about my fellow person, my fellow person next door. I want them to get good health care as well. So, I mean, everybody, and then in some cases, I like to watch the spending. So I go way to the conservative side. Oh, we ain't got no business spending money on that. So, I mean, a lot of us we're all across the plank here.
Yeah.
Most people are not just straight up Democratic or straight up Republican or straight up independent or straight up green. Everybody kind of mixed the program around a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
Well, that's another aspect where ranked choice voting comes in as a benefit to society, because a lot of people are in the middle, and you get that thing we call the spoiler effect.
Right.
And usually the 5 or 10% in the middle that could lean Democrat, could lean Republican, depending on kind of where the third party lies, that will steal votes away from the party that they more identify with, and therefore the other person wins.
Right.
So you get the lesser of two evil votes. Well, I'm going to vote for somebody I don't like, because I know if I vote for the third party candidate that I do like, my least favorite will win.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm sitting here looking at this ranked voting, and it seems like some of the people that voted. Okay, let's go back to the last presidential election. So you had people that voted for Jill Stein, and they wanted to vote for her because they're like, I want her to win. But if they had a choice between Trump and Hillary, they would have voted for Hillary. So ranked voting, if they had to put Jill Stein first, Hillary second, and Trump last.
Yep. None of their Jill Stein votes would have been wasted, because a lot of people would say you're wasting your vote on Jill Stein or, any of the other third party candidates that were running. I voted for Johnson, actually, and Hillary would probably be my second.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Because
See?
people told me that I wasted my vote on Johnson.
Right.
Like, why did you do that? You gave it to
right.
Trump.
Yeah, I know they
like,
told you. Yeah.
What is wrong with you? You know. But and it was actually a struggle for me. And like I stood there for a while with the pen, just like, do I vote with my principles or do I play into this game? And
Right.
that's a question that voters shouldn't have to ask themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. So this kind of takes the anxiety out of some of the anxiety out of voting. Like I said, we just had Miller, the Macomb County clerk, on one of our other podcasts, and he was talking about all the benefits of Prop 3, which is I'm really, really glad it passed because it's a lot of benefits to that. And one of the things is same day registration and voting. And I can't get that out enough. So this next election that comes up, and I'm letting everybody know, we had 2 podcasters on voting. This is the second one. That if you did not register to vote, you go to your city, township clerk office, go in there with your ID. You got to go with your driver's license, something with your address on it. If you use a passport, you have to have a bill, a utility bill or something with you with the passport, because the passport does not have the address. You go in there, you register to vote, and then you ask for a ballot, and then you vote. So everybody should be able to vote this up and coming election. And then here's the thing: if you guys get this ranked vote in, that might not be a bad idea. You know what? I'm actually comfortable with it. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, that's just me. I know some people would be like, I don't know, that's just complicating thing, and it could. But
yeah, I think as far as like when you go into the voting booth for a voter, it's not complicated. But there is some nuances in the tallying of it where you can kind of get lost in the numbers and you're just like, oh shit, I don't know. Oh, can I curse?
Well, that's cool. You did it now. So go ahead. But you go, why did I vote for this person, right?
Yeah. And then they just think, that this is too complicated. We don't need it. And I think like there is an innate like human reaction to anything that's different, which causes fear and just opposition towards it. And this does take a little bit of looking into to fully understand. It's not something. It's not like it's not simple, but it's not on the surface. You know, there's a little bit more to it.
Got you.
So a lot of people just don't even want to look into it, and they'll just say no.
So what are the other benefits of Rank My Vote? What's some of the other benefits to this? 'Cause I know you got a lot of paperwork there in front of you, and I'm just like, I know we haven't got through it. So
yeah, well, it solves the 3 major problems, and this is just from our elevator pitch. Vote splitting, like we already talked about, especially during primaries. You know, where the winner is often garners less than 50% of the vote from their own party.
Right.
And they don't really represent the majority then. I mean, less than 50% of the people wanted them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're moving on through the system. And, we just don't think that's okay. You need to have at least half of the people behind you in some capacity. Even if you're their third choice, at least they wanted you somehow.
Right.
And then the spoiler candidates, like we talked about as well, like that's a pretty major part. Because, you know, the middle ground is usually less than the other two of people that's like, I'm only going to vote Democrat, I'm only going to vote Republican. But the middle shouldn't be deciding, you know, who gets to lead the country. It should be everybody.
Right.
And then it also breaks the lock on the 2-party system. As you can see with, you know, right, left, middle, third party or whatever, it allows the third party to have a more voice. Because the people that say, I'm not going to vote for Johnson or Jill Stein because I'll get the other guy in that I don't want.
Right.
Now they feel confident in putting their first choice as whoever, regardless of, you know, if they think they're going to win or not. And that just gives us more data as a whole country as to what the people actually want and what ideals they agree with. Because I think right now with the 2-party system, we are so polarized. And that's another kind of problem that not having a ranked choice voting system represents, because even in like the primaries where it's just one party fighting against each other, you can't really have a really supportive and positive conversation with people. It has to kind of be tearing each other down to get that first vote. So you get like mudslinging and people trying to tear down each other's characters. And just on the surface issues like, you know, immigration or abortion and that kind of stuff. I'm like, they're important, but there's other things going on in the world, and not every Democrat is like, you know,
No, everybody don't line completely up.
Exactly,
Right.
but that's how you kind of got to fall if you want a majority of the vote, because that's just the way it is. But if
That's true.
throughout the primary process, if you can have more of a positive thing and people can vote more with their conscience rather than who they think other people want,
Right.
then you have those ideals shining through more clearly. And it just, I don't know. I think that's a positive overall. So it's not as polarized. So we're not ripping the country apart, red and blue. We can be more purple, and because those middle grounds will shine more through.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and I was listening to another radio show, and I can't remember who the host was, but they were talking about black folks, and they were saying that black folks over the age of 45, they a big part of their decision making is that they don't vote for the candidate that they want. They vote for the candidate that they think can win, that's closer to what they want, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
And I guess I can really give you an example with Joe Biden.
Okay.
You have a lot of folks that's looking at Joe Biden going, yeah, I can see that he can win. I may like, let's just say Cory Booker. I'm just throwing him out there. I may like Booker, and I may think he'll do a great job, and I may even think he's more qualified. But at the end of the day, I know it's a certain demographics out there that they're not going to vote for Cory Booker, for maybe the way he looks, maybe because of the way he talks, whatever the situation is. But they will vote for Joe Biden. And then, well, that's as close as I can get to what I want. So I'm going to cast my vote closer to, where I can be comfortable with,
Right.
not who I really, truly want.
Yeah, and like I was saying, that bends the statistics about, what people that lead think that the population wants. Because they only see the vote for Biden. They don't know that they would have rather had Booker. And they more agree with that kind of thing. So the things that are positive about him kind of get pushed under the rug. They're not known about. That information, that data on the voters' minds doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
And this would bring that out to the surface so that we get a more representative government.
And here's the other thing. You would be surprised because in some cases, the underdog person may just take the vote.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes, well, I don't think this person can win, but I'm going to put him my first choice. Because even when he loses, that vote will shift down. That'll go away. And my second choice will get picked. And then everybody look around and be like, oh, my God, he won.
Right.
Because not just you were thinking that way. A whole lot of other
Yeah.
people were thinking that way. And keep in mind, you know what? I know people are going to listen to this podcast, and it's going to be some that's going to go, oh, I definitely don't agree with this and yada, yada, yada. You know what? We're not going to always agree with everything.
Sure.
But we have to look at different avenues. We have to let's just take a look at it. Now, if somebody wanted more details on this, where can they go to get information for this?
There's information on our website.
Yeah, what's your website?
It's rankmyvote.com, and that's my with an M-I.
Okay, like Michigan.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Rank Michigan Vote. You can think it that way.
So that is rankmyvote.com.
.com.
Rankmyvote.com. You can go there and you can get some more information. Now, what if they want to volunteer and help you guys out with this? Can they go to the website and contact you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be great if anybody wants to help us out, because we could use some more volunteers.
Always can use volunteers.
Well, or you could just join our mailing list and keep up to date with what we're doing, because this is going to be a bit of a slow roll. We're just a 501c right now. We're just education. But, in the future, we would like to get some things on the ballot. And our major goal is statewide about 2022. So, a lot of people see that year. It's like, oh, wait, that's not like tomorrow. So I don't care. But if you just want to stay on the mailing list to keep appraised of what we're up to. And then but when we are going circulating petitions, you know about it. And that's a lot easier to get involved in that sort of thing rather than education, where you have to kind of give speeches and stuff.
Well, you know what? Education is very, very important, which is why we're doing this podcast. Because the thing is I feel, whether I'm for it, against it, or whatever, People need to know what's out there and what's going on. With the two-party system that we have news media, and I'm not going to say the names because everybody know who they are, but you have one side that go one way and the other side go another way. And it's really hurtful that you can look at a bad situation and you can be in the midst of the bad situation, in the middle of it. You're like are surrounded by it. And one news outlet will go, oh, it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And the other one will report, oh, it was the worst thing since sliced bread. And you're sitting up there going, this was a bad situation. Right. There's no way you could have turned this around any differently. Mm-hmm. But it's because of the
it's how too polarized.
There you go. There you go. And that's the problem with our media, and that's what we're lacking.
Yeah, no, the only two choices, Republican, Democrat, that's built into the system. So in order to tear that down, so it's not so polarized, so the only news you see is not just, I hate this thing, I hate that thing. It's more like, what do we agree on? Because we have more data on what people actually think. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? Well, you know
lost my train of thought.
Well, you know what? Well, no. You're good because I've actually had a guy at my garage that's a Republican and one that's a Democrat, and they came together and had a conversation. And we was just kicking it in the garage. Come to find out, they agreed upon a whole lot of things, but it's almost as if the forces like to keep them separated. They always like to
divide and conquer. They don't want us to get along.
There you go. They always want to throw abortion on the table, and God on the table, and the gays on the table. I mean, those are the things that they always throw on the table. And keep in mind, government is way more than those three items. Right. I mean, they have a place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not important because they are.
No, but it's a tree in the forest that a lot of people like laser focus in on. Where
exactly
just zoom out. There's like the economy and overspending on military budgets and everything else. It's not just
jumping in planes, just flying everywhere whenever you want to, right?
Yeah.
On weekend, I'm flying to Florida.
There's overspending.
Exactly. And keep in mind, all of us gotta think that way. So let's get that website again one more time, and we'll go as we wrap this up.
At www.rankmyvote.com.
Rank My Vote, and the my is a M-I.
Right.
Rank R-A-N-K. For somebody like me, that's my spelling is a little off. And M-I and VOTE.com.
Yep.
Because I always get my .org and .com. And keep in mind, this is LaborVision. And our website is www.laborvision.org. And definitely you can catch this podcast and our last couple of podcasts is on there, where we do education. Whether you agree or disagree, it's okay. People can come here and tell their story. Emily, thank you for a great podcast. Will you be willing to come back?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem, because you know what? I thought this was something that people should listen. They should go online, read up on it, see how they may honestly,
like it. If you're on the fence about it, just do a little digging and make a informed decision. Don't just make a gut decision. Look at it.
Right. Now, can they email you off that website?
Yeah. We have a rank my vote at info or no,
okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm saying in case somebody want to get some information, I always want to say, hey, let me point you right to the right person. Yeah. So
it would be like rank my vote, same thing as the website at gmail.com. If you just want to,
just shoot an email just to get some information
communicate directly or message us on Facebook.
Oh, what's the thing on Facebook? I'm sorry, we didn't mention Facebook.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's just facebook.com/rankmyvote.
Okay, Facebook's
or just search rank my vote. We pop up.
Okay, you'll pop up if they do the search. So if you do the search in Facebook, do you have a Twitter feed?
Yeah. Yep.
What's the Twitter feed?
Same thing. I think Twitter/rank my vote. Pretty sure.
Okay, rank my vote. So if I go on Twitter and do rank my vote, I can do that, and I'll make sure we have a Twitter feed. I can never mention it. It is called CSEE LaborVision. C LaborVision. That's our Twitter feed, and I'm gonna follow you guys because I want to make sure I got you guys followed so I can see what's going on, and I want to be like, I knew them when it was getting this off the ground. Now it's off the ground. It's doing what it's doing, right? Mm-hmm. So, Emily, thank you for coming on the show, and that's another great show again as normal. Thank you, and to everybody, stay tuned for the next podcast on LaborVision. Take care. Have a good.